Is something sinister really coming to this game right now? Or is this an overhyped character? We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. I mean, look, was Colson overhyped? I don't know, he's a good character. You can easily sometimes beat him with X-Men, 2-tap it, easily beat him with X-Men after that. And considering all the resources that people put into him, you could probably make a good argument for him being overhyped. Again, not saying he's not a good character, but with the limited use of him, you know, I'm not sure it's worth the resources. So we'll go over Mr. Sinister today, talk about his stats, we'll talk about his abilities, we'll talk about his T4s, where those come in the overall rankings. And I mean, he's got an offer in game. He's a blitz unlock at 100 shards, so that means unless you're really pushing those blitzes, there's a chance that you're not going to unlock them. And given where we were at with that hella blitz that we just had, yeah, man, you know, hardcore blitzers like myself even are burnt out on the blitz aspect of this game. With Hella and myself, I was on a trip with some family. I did want to get 1500, but I fell short. I was not able to push past that 13 mil mark, you know, basically because I fell asleep at, you know, late nights and I wanted to hang out with my family. So, you know, the numbers in blitz mode are just getting insane. So anyway, that's another conversation. So let's look at Mr. Sinister. Let's see if he's gonna rank up with the stats and the T4s and his abilities. And is it someone you're gonna want to spend 50 bucks on, 100 bucks on to unlock, or a ton of time? I don't know. Let's get through it.
Bring me WolverThor!
Alright, so here's Mr. Sinister in game. You can see, like I mentioned, he's a 100 shard unlock. I was lucky enough to get 1 red star on him after opening 15 red stars, 3 4 elites, and a 5 elite. You'd be happy to know I got a 6 red star hand blade master off of that. 5 red star merc soldier. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about all that. Anyway, so Mr. Sinister, you know, we'll go through his abilities a little bit here. I'll go through them on msf.gg. They're a little bit easier to read as far as what they are. But you know, the question's going to be whether you want to do this offer in the game for him, which is the one right at the top. It's 50 bucks for 55 shards and 8 orbs. So I mean, the orbs itself, the House of Essex orbs, you know, are you guaranteed to unlock them for 50 bucks? You're basically gonna get, let's just say worst case scenario, 6 shards in the middle, and then so let's just say, so 8. You do the math. You do 8 times 6. 48 plus 55, it's 103. So the 50 bucks guarantees you the unlock. But again, it's like, what do you get? You still got to build them up. You got to level them. How much gold you got? I have 2.2 million. Cyclops is coming, maybe. We'll talk about that in a second. Beast is coming. You know, Hella just got here. More Marauders are coming. More Asgardians are coming. You know, it's like, oh yeah, and you want to level up your tunes for Ultimate 7. So, you know, and that costs for each level to 75 is nuts. So, I don't know, man. Ladies and gentlemen, not just men. I'm torn here. So anyway, you've seen him in game. Let's look at his abilities on msf.gg to get this looking a little bit, you know, smoother as opposed to in game. So I mentioned that, you know, Beast and Cyclops might be coming. So this is why. So MSF, Twitter, they tweeted, what was this, yesterday around 3 p.m. So we'll blow this bad boy up so you can see it a little better. And you can kind of see this thing. Just some X-Men there. Okay, cool. Oh, what's that? What's that? You see a little Beast there? All right, that's fun. That's fun. Oh, what's that? Beast and Cyclops. Okay, you know, all right. Are you showing me something real or just teasing me? Cyclops again. All right, Marvel Strike Force. So that's where it's coming from. Could be a tease, could be an Easter egg. Who knows? Alright, his basic is attack primary target for some damage, plus 50% damage per non-cloned Marauder. So, you know, could you potentially, you know, do pretty well there? Yeah, it's pretty nice. You gotta gain an assist from a random clone ally, and then 70% chance to gain an assist from a random Marauder ally. And again, we'll go over the T4s in that specific section so you can see the rankings. But essentially, this is, you know, damage plus damage per non-clone Marauder. So the Marauders are new to the game, so you're talking about Sinister, Strife, Sabretooth, and Mystique. So you're breaking up the Brotherhood a little bit as well if you combine these guys. I personally don't use Mystique and Sabretooth with the Brotherhood on offense anyway, so I'm fine dropping these guys with this team on defense. But anyway, so you get some extra damage there, which it stacks up pretty good. So that's an extra at least 200%. They don't have a 5th Marauder yet, so you've got to find, you know, somebody else to stick in there for the time being, which, I don't know, we can theory craft that one a little bit later. His special starts with 2 out of 5 energy, so this is going to take a while to, you know, kind of get to potentially. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Clear heal block from 2 most injured allies, gain offense up for 2 turns. Actually, let's drop this just before we get to the rest. But you're clearing heal block from 2 most injured allies, and you're gaining offense for 2 turns. Transfer all positive effects from an ally Mystique to this character, so Mr. Sinister. Spread all of the positive effects from this character to 3 mutant or clone allies. And then heal all allies for some health, plus 15% of this character's max health, and heal all clones plus some percentage of this character's max health. So this is where you're gonna hear people talking about the red star portion of this. Is if you get a lot of red stars on him, this is really nice because when you use this, again, you're not using it until later. So hopefully at this point Mystique has a bunch of positive effects on her that you can spread around. And then, well, again, we'll talk about the T4s later. So the ultimate is summon a clone of the primary target. This clone scales with Mr. Sinister stats instead of the primary target. Clone gains defense up for 2 turns. On war defense, generate 2 ability energy for all Marauders and clone allies. So he's got some you know, energy kind of busting out for a little bit. I'd be curious to see if it considers himself a own ally. But as you notice, this is only 3 of 6 energy. So it's like, well, wait a minute. We've got the special at, you know, 2 of 5. It's like, when is this guy gonna get to turn, you know, 3, you know, and be able to use these abilities? It's like, is it? I don't know. Let's see. All right, and that's where the passive comes in. So on spawn, generate 3 ability for this character if non-cloned. Why this is in here, it's kind of weird to me, I guess. It's kind of like, okay, so why not just give these to him automatically? But, you know, I'm sure there's a reason about it if you really think about it. You know, maybe it's a turn down the line or something like that. But so that what that means is you get on spawn 3 ability energy. So that means you get the special right away. So you could, in theory, clear heal block and gain offensive up. Okay, or you could clone, which is what's going to happen, because if you look at these, it should be the clone that on defense as the AI, this is what happens first. So you're getting 3 energy, you're going to clone, then you're going to use his special. So it's clear to understand that when you're looking at these abilities. Don't get confused by, well, wait a minute, I can't even, the AI is not going to. On spawn, you get the energy, you're going to clone first turn, and then second turn you're going to use this heal block. Clear if there's a Mordo or, you know, maybe a Pyro or something attacking you that's placed heal blocks or something along those lines. And then let's drop this down to the level 4 without the T4s. On turn, heal 15%, and let me zoom this up a little bit so you can see it better. On turn, heal 15% of max health plus 5% of max health per Marauder's ally. Apply regen to the 2 most injured mutant allies. So again, 15% heal on turn. Red stars, red stars, red stars, red stars. So there's a potential lot of heals going on with this, and then if you're going back up to the special, you're healing even more. So hopefully you get more luck than I did on the red stars. Bummed out on that one, but is what it is. On Marauder's ally turn, if this character's health is greater than 50%, redistribute 10% from this character to that ally. So think about it. On a Marauder's ally's turn, if the way I'm reading this is if Mr. Sinister's health is greater than 50%, redistribute 10% of Mr. Sinister's health to that character. So it's like every time a Marauder character goes, Mr. Sinister's healing that character. So let's think about that. Again, on Mr. Sinister's turn, he's healing Marauders for essentially, wow, 35% of this character's health, which is awesome. And then you've got the special that could heal all allies, which is crazy. I mean, so every turn you're healing for 35%. You're using that special second turn to heal all your allies, and you're applying regen to the 2 most injured mutant allies. This dude's sustain, especially in war, is going to be nuts. On Marauder allies' turn, you're also healing that character with 10% of Mr. Sinister's health. So he's just healing all over the place. It's going to be nuts. Gain 30% focus, and then Marauder allies gain 30% focus, and then some additional health for Marauder, for himself and Marauder allies. War defense, Marauder allies gain even more health. So the part that's a little bit weird for me here is the focus for himself. Obviously, it's nice to get, focus on Mystique and, Sabretooth, and we'll get to Strife in a different video, and who knows what the other person is, but the focus here for himself, it's kind of like, well, where is he getting, what's it really matter for, focus? You should be able to gain your own defense ups, and yeah, I mean, maybe the clearing of heal block, I guess there's a chance he wouldn't clear that. But anyway, so that's his kit. Let's talk more specifically about his T4s now. Okay, so for what this T4 ranking is, if you're not aware, I've ranked every single T4 in the game. I've got general classifications for these things that are essentially great, good, okay, meh, crap, and total crap. So that, and I've also got some damage rankings for those so that you can understand how I've ranked them. Because how do you know 15% versus 30%? It's based on someone's base damage. So I've got a ranking. So when I talk about the ranking, that's what I'm discussing. It's ranked 40th. It's ranked 40th based on where it goes with just damage rankings. So anyway, first one up, Mr. Sinister's passive. Plus 20% focus for self and Marauder allies, so it's up to 50%. And this is just what the T4 does, okay? So it gives an additional 20% of focus and an additional 10% of max HP for self and Marauder allies for a total of 20%. That aspect of it, the max HP, so it essentially doubles it, it's pretty nice. On war defense, it's an additional 10% max HP for Marauder allies, which gives it 30%. I've got this ranked as good right now. Essentially, this is about some additional focus and healing, or max HP, which you could get for healing himself. Anytime you get more HP, it's good. It's 10%. So, you're talking about, say you've got a 100k character, which is extremely, high. That's 10k. So is 10k going to do that much for you? That's why I've only got this as good. Because I think about the hits you get. When you get more and more HP stacked, yeah, all of them together are pretty nice. Now, the next one you can see is Mr. Sinister's ult, which is right next to this. Now, I've highlighted what it says here. It says +1 to all ability levels for this character's clone. I've got 7. Now, if you go, I'm a little confused about this, and we've asked Foxnex for some clarification on exactly how this works, because supposedly the passive of Mr. Sinister's clones act off of his passive level, whereas all the other ability levels, the way this reads, it acts off as his alt. So I think, based on doing the math, that if you T7 Mr. Sinister's alt, that makes the clones, all of their abilities T4s, except for the passive. You'd have to have the passive T4'd of Mr. Sinister to get the clones passive T4'd. So I'm trying to get that 100% clear, but I think that's what it is. I've got it still marked as good because in theory, if you T4 one of Mr. Sinister's abilities, it T4s all of a clone's abilities. But this could also go down in the rankings because if a clone can't really stick around for multiple turns, it's kind of like, I don't really want to drop a T4 in Mr. Sinister to get a T4 in a clone that I don't get to keep around very long. So I'm a little torn there. I could see that one going down a bit. Mr. Sinister's special, I have this currently ranked as great. This is what it's doing is when it's transferring all the positive effects from Mystique, instead of transferring to 3 mutant allies or cloned allies, it's transferring to all of them. So again, from 3 to all. So that to me is a big upgrade. It's kind of like you're making sure you give it to everybody. I always like those type of T4 upgrades where you're going from a 3 to an all. So that's a great in my opinion. The heal all allies for an additional 500 HP, that's crap. It's just terrible. But the 5% extra of this character's max health is nice. And then again, the clones, 500 HP, throw that away. The 5% is nice. To me, the extra HP on there is kind of just an added bonus to the all characters, all mutant characters and clones up from the 3. And then right above that, again, I've got Mr. Sinister's basic. So Mr. Sinister's basic is plus 50% damage for a total of 300% plus 30% chance to gain an assist from a random Marauder ally. So this is very Miss Marvel-esque in this regard, where you're guaranteeing to get an assist from a Marauder ally. The plus 50% damage for the total of 300%, that comes in ranked at 112th. And as far as all damage increased T4s in the game, it's not bad. You know, it's not great, it's not bad. Normally that would be in the good to okay category as far as damage goes, but the 30% for a guaranteed assist from a Marauder, which you're going to run all Marauders with this guy, at least you're gonna have 3 other ones for the time being, you know, so you're gonna get assists from Mystique, Strife, or Sabretooth. That's I'm liking that. Mystique doesn't hit very hard, but you know, Sabretooth and maybe even Strife, depending on what his base damage is, you know, could hit pretty hard there. So you could see, you know, Mr. Sinister's T4s. I got a couple greats and then a couple, you know, goods here for exactly, you know, for where he's going to shake out. So, you know, and again, the alt could drop down to an okay, but all his T4s overall are pretty solid. So let's look at the stats. All right, for those who are not familiar with my stat sheet, I basically got all of the stats from msf.gg. It's based on level 70, 7 yellows, 0 red stars, T11, and no star architect in it so that it just doesn't mess with the ranking. So, and then I've ranked each one of those and then I've given it an average rank. So the way I've got this currently sorted is that based on the average rank of the character, so that way I can kind of see, you know, how they stack up across the board in the game. So Mr. Sinister, we'll zoom in here. He comes in a pretty solid rank. You know, he comes in at the 15th best ranked character in the game as far as pure stats go. But as I mentioned in one of my other videos, I think it was the Elsa Bloodstone, sometimes that can kind of be skewed because what if he gets a stat that kind of doesn't matter for him? So let's look at them specifically. Each one, we'll go one by one. So first, health, and to me this is the most important stat for him given the fact that he's healing so much based on a percent of his health. He comes at the 14th highest health in the game. I think that's phenomenal. It's great. Super A+ there. Stoked about it. His damage, he's kind of one of those support controller type characters, and his damage comes in ranked at 94th. So he's got a pretty low base damage there. That's why when you saw that T4 upgrade, it was, you know, 112th. So he's not doing a whole lot there, but you know, it's I don't know. I'm not doing anything for him because of his damage. Armor 30th, that's pretty solid. I'm happy with that. You know, you want him to be able to survive. You know, with the health, you don't want him to be squishy and just be able to be knocked over or knocked out real quick. Focus, it's 9th. So again, this happened with Elsa Bloodstone. It was her focus. I don't think she has any abilities to do anything with her focus. Mr. Sinister, outside of, I think it was the one I mentioned, clear heal block or something along those, and I'm not even 100% convinced that focus does anything there. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it does. his focus is super high. Comment below. Am I missing something here? Why does he need focus? What is it for? I don't get why that is. His resistance, it's at 44th. That's not bad. You know, it's okay. Speed comes in at 100, ranked at 66th in the game. Okay, you know, it's fine. You don't want him going crazy fast anyway, because you want Mystique getting all of her buffs, you know, for multiple turns, and then be able to, for him to copy and spread them. And then, so overall, he comes in with an average rank of 42 in the game. But again, like I mentioned, you know, one of those rankings is his focus, which kind of stinks. So let's change his focus to, you know, just, I don't know, 50, because it really shouldn't matter at all. You know, his rank drops down to 49th, which really gets him to, you know, around 35th in the Mysterio range in the game. So, you know, don't get overly hyped with the stats there. I mean, the health is nice. The damage is pretty bad. The armor's decent. Resistance is okay. Speed's okay. So, you know, really, but his whole kit is purely about, you know, the controlling. So, you know, that's what you got to think about when you really think about, you know, Mr. Sinister as a character. So let's wrap this thing up and put it in a nice cute little bow and see if you think you should invest in Mr. Sinister or not. So what do you think? Great character, just okay character, overhyped, underhyped? I don't know. So my stance on this is I think he's a good character. I think red stars are going to make him a pain in the butt. I think Marauders on war defense are going to be a pain in the butt, which is going to make people want him more. But similar to Coulson, it's like, well, if you're only using this guy mainly on defense, you know, is he worth it? There's some discussions as if how valuable he'll be for raids. Okay, he's got a lot of tags to him assigned to Marauders, so, you know, we'll see as far as I go. Copying character, yeah, that'd be really nice. But, you know, if it's cloning based on Mr. Sinister's, you know, abilities, then how good is it really? So, am I going to spend 50 bucks on this? I didn't get the red stars I wanted, so I'm honestly torn. If I wasn't making content, I wouldn't. Straight up, I wouldn't do it unless I got just really great red stars. I had an extra 50 to 100 bucks that I wanted to spend on a character that I might have to spend another 100 bucks to level up, you know, with gold or whatever. So, you know, 200 bucks in, are you going to spend that? If, you know, look, if you got it, great. You know, is this going to be a good character for you? Probably. Are Marauders, you know, going to be characters that you're going to probably need for a legendary unlock soon? I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it's going to be like Mr. Sinister Strife combined with Ghost Rider and Elsa. You know, it's going to be some weird mix of Supernatural and, you know, Marauders that you have to use, but you can't use the other ones that have been in the game for a while. It's like the newly released ones. That's going to be the next thing, which everyone's going to be all upset about. So anyway, I hope this video helped you decide if you think you're going to get into them. At the end of the day, for content purposes, I'm probably going to end up going ahead and buying them. But I'm going to do it with just kind of like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to put my thumbprint on the phone? I don't know. I don't know if I do or not. But we'll see. So tell me your thoughts below. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope this helped. You know, tell me what you think the most helpful part of these videos are, as for stats, the T4s, the talking about, you know, the abilities. Is it just me rambling on about nonsense all the time? Or is it just like, you know what? I don't even know why I come here for these videos. And you know what? If I'm saying this to you right now and you're still here, I appreciate your watching. So anyway, until next time, you know, hammer down on that like button, click the notification bell, share with your alliance mates, friends, family, tell your grandma, tell your grandpa, you know, tell them to hit me up on YouTube to chat about all things good, and I'll see you next time.